Hi, I'm Dory, and today I am drawing a portrait of my little cousin Sarah. Now, I've talked about Sarah before on my channel, but it's been about 3 years since I did a video just about her, and I know a lot of you have joined me since then, so there's a ton of you that don't know Sarah's story and aren't familiar with why she is a special angel, and all of you should know. So I thought I would draw a picture of her and show you her beautiful face and tell you a little bit about who she was, because she was very, very, very special. Now, I drew this as a Christmas gift for my aunt and uncle. That was Sarah's parents, and when I gave it to them, it made them cry. I didn't mean to make them cry, it just did. And that's because anything having to do with Sarah is special. It's like a treasure, because she did pass away when she was 7 years old. She lived a very hard life. Right away when she was born, she was diagnosed with something called Vater Associative Disorder, and that is just basically this cluster of birth defects that kind of occur together, and all of them are really tough to deal with and really tough to overcome, and Sarah basically had all of them. So it was extremely difficult. She also dealt with epilepsy and hydrocephalus and a few other really frustrating disorders. And because of these things, she did have to go through major surgeries and had to have a feeding tube put in, had to just basically deal with constant medications. She was in a wheelchair her entire life. She just dealt with a lot. But when she was born, the doctor said she wasn't going to live more than 3 months. And like I said, she died when she was 7, so she definitely had a full life, much fuller and much longer than she was originally supposed to. So I feel extremely blessed to have had her in my life, because she definitely taught me a lot about perspective and being positive and just kind of dealing with the hand that's dealt to you, because she was just incredibly positive. She had so many problems and so many painful issues and so many challenges, and yet she never complained. She just loved to play, she loved to laugh, she loved to have fun, she loved music, and she was just a little girl that was just happy. And if I don't know, if that's not inspiring, I don't know what is, because she was incredible. She loved to play, like I said. She especially loved playing ball. Like, we would give her a big beach ball or something, and she would pat it and laugh and then throw it at us, and then we would pick it up and then give it back, and just simple things, but she would laugh like crazy at this. And our favorite game was playing with a balloon. If she had a helium balloon, one that would float up, she would pull the string, and pull it way down, and then hold the balloon and hit it and put it on her mouth and go woo, 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 and feel it vibrate on her lips, and then we would go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, like a rocket, and she'd let it go and the balloon would fly up and she'd laugh like hell. It was it was hilarious. Or she'd kick her feet and just it was so much fun for her, and it became such a special thing that after she passed away, anytime I would visit her grave, I always bring her a balloon. She was just incredibly special. When she was very small, her parents had a great deal of trouble dealing with all of the special needs that she did have, and it was a bit overwhelming for them to have to work and to deal with her. So my family, military family, my dad actually retired from the Navy, and we moved to be close to them, and I actually moved in with them, and I lived with Sarah and my aunt and uncle for a long time so that I could kind of help them with her. And honestly, it was one of the best experiences of my entire life, being able to just be on call and to help her and to be kind of her little friend and her sister. I mean, she was my cousin technically, but we lived together under the same roof, and I took care of her and we bonded like we were sisters. And I loved her so much. I can't even explain. And like I mentioned before, she did have epilepsy. So she would have seizures. That's what that means. And they were a lot. There was one point for several years where she would have multiple seizures every day. And that was one of the only times I would ever see her cry, was after a seizure, because from what I understand, I've never dealt with it myself, but from what I understand is it causes some pretty bad headaches, and it does not feel good. And that's she'd be fine right up until a seizure, and then after she would cry, and that was always heartbreaking to see. In order to prevent the headaches and the seizures and everything, we would have to be so careful about what was on television, about making sure there was no lights that would possibly flicker or flash on and off. Anything that could possibly trigger a seizure we avoided, and it was a big no-no, a huge no-no. Never have flickering lights, never have flashing lights. It's not allowed. And that made Christmas a little weird. Because everything at Christmas is flashing or flickering. Everything. Like, that's just how decorations are in the holidays. So it was always a big deal to make sure that we had decorations and Christmas lights that would not flicker in any way at all. And they would no flashing, nothing like that. Because we didn't want to trigger those seizures for her, because they were so painful and so frustrating. That's why the year after she was gone, the year after she passed away, we were all at her house, celebrating Christmas and trying to help my uncle and my aunt get through the loss, the first Christmas without her. When we were all sitting by the tree, and all of a sudden the lights on the tree started flickering, and my aunt flipped out. Like, we didn't even have Sarah with us, but it was just so ingrained in all of us that, flashing lights are a no-no. That's not something you want in the house. That when the lights on the tree started flashing, she, lost it. She was like, oh, no. What is going on? There's something wrong with the lights. Because they'd used the same lights as from last year. And Uncle Mark, he went in and started going through and trying to check all the light bulbs and trying to figure out what was wrong. And we realized that the lights outside on their porch were flashing too. And so everyone was like, there's something wrong with the electrical system. There's something wrong. There's a fuse. Something is going wrong. And so everybody was checking the electrical stuff. But the only things that were flickering or flashing were the Christmas lights. And somebody suddenly realized that maybe it was an electrical issue. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was something a little paranormal. Maybe it was Sarah, peeping in and saying, hey, it's okay, you can have flashing lights now. Well, I'm all right. And she decided to play with them, and she played with the lights and enjoyed them. And it seemed like a way of communication from her, and it seemed like a special thing. So we all, said, hey, Sarah. And it was special. We never did find any blinking light bulbs or anything on the strand. We never did find anything wrong with the electrical. And it never did it except for when we were all hanging out on Christmas. So I do think it was Sarah talking to us and letting us know that it's okay to have flashing lights now. It's okay, it's not going to hurt her anymore. I also say hi to Sarah when I see butterflies. She collected them all through her life. She loves butterflies. And now when I see one, I just kind of think maybe that's her, her in some form or fashion, saying, peeping in, or a messenger from her saying hello. And I always just say, hey, Sarah. And that's just my way of remembering her. I also saw her once after she died. It was that same Christmas. I was helping them put up decorations, and I went by down the hallway to get a box, and I walked past her bedroom, and I saw her just sitting on the foot of her bed, just sitting there. And, it seemed so normal. Like, I didn't question. So I said, "Hey, Sarah." And then I kept walking, and then I stopped. And I looked back in the room, and she was not in the room anymore. She was gone. And, it freaked me out for a second, but it didn't scare me. Did I see a ghost? Maybe I saw a ghost. I think so. But it was my cousin's ghost, so it's not scary. That's not bad. That's a good thing. And it just felt so warm and comforting, like, hey, I'm just here. So, yeah. Even though she's been gone for like a really, really long time, for so many years now, I still think of her all the time. I've got a tattoo with her name on it, actually. Yeah, and it's got a butterfly on it, of course. But she was such a good sister, just such a good friend. Even though she was my cousin, I loved her like a sister, and she was just such a genuinely sweet, happy person. There are so few people in this world that can experience pain and frustration and obstacles to the extreme in the way that she did and still be happy and still want to play because that's all she wanted to do was play. She loved puppy dogs. Oh my gosh, she loves puppy dogs. Her dad, my uncle, he had a black lab, and she loved that dog. Oh my gosh. And that dog he was clever. He knew before she would have a seizure, and he would let us know. He wasn't trained for anything like that. He just knew. It was amazing. He was so smart. And she would just reach down and she would grab like a fistful of his fur and just hang on or pull. And he was just cool with it. He was just like, okay, she's pulling my hair. Awesome. She never learned how to talk. She would just laugh or squeal or say repetitive sounds. But sometimes you would recognize a sound as being a word-ish, sort of. Like, my name wasn't Dory, it was door, 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 door. But I knew I was door, 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 so I would always answer. She was so tiny. In this picture that I'm drawing, I mean, she's probably 5 or 6 years old. I mean, but she looks like she's 2 or 3, doesn't she? She's so small. She always had that little baby doll face. As one of the side effects of her birth defects. Always made her look so tiny. And she didn't grow. She dealt with that feeding tube. She dealt with all those surgeries and just did it with such grace. So yes, I'm extremely proud to share her story with you guys, and there's so many more things I could tell you about her because she was so cool. She liked music a lot. She liked country music, and especially liked a band called Alabama. And there was this song that she used to really enjoy that went. I believe there are angels among us. And I always felt like maybe that song was, sort of about her and her situation, because I feel like she was an angel among us too. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to me rant and ramble about my cousin. I love her and I miss her so much, and I hope someday I get to see her again. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and tell me about somebody that you love, somebody that made a big big impression on your life when you were young. Tell me about someone like that in the comments down below, because people like Sarah are so special. I want to honor all of those people's memories. So if you have an angel in your life, let me know about them. Alright guys, I'll talk to you later. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you again in the next video. Bye.